Well, a lot has happened. Um, but before we start, man, it's Coach Malik Hall. This is Catch Up with Coach. Um, the NFL edition. But before we get into the NFL, the football community lost another great man, another great coach. I'll admit, this is another tough loss overall. I did know him personally, but not as personal as others or most. Mike Leach had a heart attack, died at age 61. That's a tough one. Controversy follows us all, as they say. And Mike Leach was not short of controversy, whether it be his play calling, or even how he felt about institutions he's worked for, how he's felt about the media. I think he was a coach who was always vocal in his own truth. Whether or not you agreed with Mike Leach or not, he was vocal in his own truth. So as Mike Leach moves on and he leaves us, he leaves a legacy to be remembered. Yeah. He was a part of the groundbreaking run and shoot from its infancy. My man, Coach Patterson, my homie, my brother, my offensive coordinator for life, Coach P. I never forget when we first met him at the convention. We weren't at the convention. We were at the NFL draft. Okay, so we were at the NFL draft. And at the time, he wasn't in work. He was actually the Texas Tech debacle or shabacle, as I like to call it, had just happened. And so he was just touring the country, evaluating players, football. I think he was just enjoying football as a football head. And he was also dealing with the lawsuit at the time with Texas Tech. Excuse me. But anyway, we were at the NFL Combine, and we were young coaches, young coordinators, or wannabe coordinators, just trying to climb up the corporate ladder of football. And we were football heads. We wanted to know what was happening at the NFL draft, period. And so we go to the NFL draft. I mean, we drove all the way to Indianapolis from Staten Island, Shaolin. We drove all the way to Indianapolis from New York. We were working at Wagner College at the time. I mean, and we had our manual, we had our notebooks, if we could have had a camera crew, we would have taken the camera crew just to make sure we encapsulated the experience. We didn't have all of those things. So we show up at the NFL Combine and we go to the 225 rep out station. And as we're at the rep out station, like I never forget it, the UConn kid, the fullback, I don't remember his name, but he went up, he he repped it out about 32 times and racked it. And as he racked it, Coach Mike Leach walks up to my man Coach P and I and sits. He was like, "Hey guys, you mind if I sit with you? Is this seat taken?" We're like, "No, have a seat." And so I'm a defensive guy sitting next to an offensive guru. I don't have nothing to say to this guy, really. In fact, I'm starting to itch a little bit when he sits next to me. And so we watch a few more 225 rep outs, and the group shifts. So as the linebacker, tight end, quarterback shift, it shifts because he was there to look at the quarterbacks. I only suppose. So as that group shifts, it shifts. Cam Newton was in this class. Shout out Cam Newton. That's how long ago this was. Cam Newton was in this class. He did not do the 225 and he did not run a 40. And so anyway, they cycle it. It's a circuit. They finish the 225 circuit and then they go to the 40. And so as we're getting up, Leach is getting up. We're all getting up and walking down the steps to head into the 40. And my man, Coach B, just stopped him. Like, "Hey, Coach Leach, can I talk to you for a minute?" Stopped him in his tracks. He turned around and chopped it up with my man, Coach P. I'm like, "Oh, all right, I'm out. I'm go keep rolling." And so I go to the 40. Everyone's interviewing Cam. I don't see Leach. I don't see my man, Coach P. And like clockwork, I come back from look for him. They are in the stands, sitting down, notebook, pad, pen, cuss my man, Coach Patterson, my man, Coach Patterson's manual. It wasn't even this big. It was probably half this size. And Leach is just like, yo, they just building, chopping it up big time. Big time. Um, and so from that point, like he stayed in contact with Coach Leach. I actually thought Coach Patterson would have already gotten a job with Coach Leach back um, at the Washington space. But things happen, things don't materialize, but they stayed in contact because Mike Leach lived in Florida. And so I'm riding with him one day and he get a call from Leach. I'm telling you, the people now football is a small community now. Don't get me wrong. It's big, but it's small. So you're always connected by way of another person, no matter what. And so anyway, we're driving, we're recruiting. He get a call from Leach. The convention is in Orlando this year. And so following 2 years or whatever it may have been, he get a call from Leach while we on the highway in Florida. Hey, coach, I want to talk to you about a few kids. And like clockwork, he asked my man, Coach Patterson, about 4 or 5 kids in Florida. Coach Patterson gave him the rundown, sent them the information, and bing, bang, boom. And that was that. Now I know this is the NFL edition, but we started this off because, man, I'm only 42. This man, Coach Leach, died at 61, coaching Mississippi State. And when you have interactions with people and they die, I guess it just affects you. And then when you deal in this arena that's become so transactional, like athletics, um, it means something whenever you lose someone. And so I'm sure all of the coaches who are on that staff right now, and they got that call saying Coach Leach didn't wake up or they couldn't revive him. That shook them to the core. Um, that shakes the program, the athletic department, the recruiting base. Oh man, athletics has had so many traumas this year and so many whirlwinds of unfortunate events that this one hits hard too. This one hits hard too because Mike Leach was dope. He was dope, and I will not be that person to bring up anything that happened negatively in his career because if you coach long enough, here's what I was talking to a elder coach of mine. I guess I would call him my mentor. He may not think of me as his mentee, but that's neither here nor there. He says to me, hey, bro, soon, if you coach long enough, at some point, you will become a coach who stinks. I'm like, yeah. He said, like, if you coach long enough, at some point, you'll become a coach that stinks. But good coaches are able to kind of live with that for the moment that it would may not been true, but most likely he said it was probably true. You stunk, and in that moment that you stunk, it may have been circumstances that added into you stinking up the field. It may have been your coaching staff. It may have been your administration. It may have been you didn't have any players. He was like, there's a lot of reasons that you can stink, right? But he said to me, like, if you coach long enough, you'll go run into a stinky situation, which will make you a stinky coach. You just stink. And so there's no point to mourn and have to mourn on the things that were so circumstantial to the vocation that he partaked in, which was athletic collegiate football coaching. And he was a head football coach at Power 5 schools, and he did numbers. I mean, his quarterbacks have never won a Heisman. We talked about that in the last episode about Lincoln Riley, but check this out. Some of the coaches that have Heisman quarterbacks, he coached them. And so, rest in peace, Coach Mike Leach. That news hit me hard this morning, dog. That hit me hard. And I knew him, but I didn't. Again, my homie, my man, Coach P, knew him. I haven't been able to talk to Coach P. I'm sure that hit him hard. All right. As we paid our homage and our respect to Mike Leach, we're going to take a moment of silence and move into the NFL space. All right. So we're back again. I am Coach Malik Hall. This is Catch Up with Coach, the NFL, YouTube, and Facebook Live edition. All right, we're going to get in it. You heard it. You seen it. My Lions can't be beat. No, they can't be beat. That's not true at all. But in that space, my Lions showed up and they Dunsky. Now, if you follow, you could go back. You could go back in my feed. I said it. I said that the Lions would beat the Vikings the second time around. They should have got them the first time. They should have got them the shoulda, coulda, woulda, if, and buts. We call them squibs. I ain't gonna squib about it. I'm just telling you, I said it, and they did it. The Lions will look. The Lions might not go to the playoffs. I'm not even tripping. That might not happen. But what I am telling you is the Lions are on the come up, guys. And I told you before, and I'll say it again. The bandwagon is full. If you want to get in on this, you got to have some real juice and some real clout. Because other than that, you out. All right. The Lions took care of business, man. Look, they took care of business beating the Vikings 23-34. I do believe the Vikings are a good team. I think my man is getting a whole lot of heat and unnecessary heat. I really do. He getting a whole lot of heat because, look, whatever you think of Cousins, he got 10 wins, player. And them 10 wins mean something. That's a fact. All right. We got this the NFL edition, which means not for long. And I wasted my first 10 minutes. Not wasted. I paid my first 10 minutes respect to Mike Leach. I'm a coach. And any football coach that dies that I had a conversation with, an interaction with, and I hear about it, I'm gonna always give the respect due. But let's keep it rolling. E A G EAGLES. The I want to say Lions again. The Eagles. The Eagles. 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 And I don't know why people don't respect the Eagles. You know why? Because people don't respect when you win in gritty fashion. People only respect spankings. I had to learn that as a coach. Like, I could coach people up. Hey, when they do this, you do this. When they do this, you do this. When they do this, you do this. He ain't gonna do that until he get ear hold. People don't respect the team until they start blowing people out, and they blew the Giants out. Saquon couldn't get nothing going for real. Not enough to get. Well, I shouldn't say that because on the low, I think he still has some respectable yards. But I will say this: I mean, whether you had the yards you needed or not, it come back to did you win, right? And at the end of the day, they just did not win. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, Saquon, I think he must have gotten hurt because he had a real garbage day. But do you believe in DJ? Do you believe in Daniel Jones for the Giants? I do because he is very reminiscent of Eli Manning. Eli Manning was going to be able to make the throw that you didn't think he was going to make. But if you thought he was going to do that week in, week out, you was expecting him to be Peyton. He's not Peyton Manning. He was Eli Manning. And now Daniel Jones is not Eli Manning, but it is very nostalgic. He has shown me flashes. They just got to get Saquon. They got to get Saquon another running back just to take some of the load off of him. Every time the Giants win, they have a 1-2 punch. And right now, they only have a right hook. And that right hook has been repaired twice. All right. So they got to get that. They got to get that fixed. They got to get that worked out. All right. We're only going to talk about a few teams. I actually put the teams I'm talking about in my notes. Okay. Jets, Bills, the Jets will be straight. Yes, I think they should have been used White. Really, I think they should have used Flacco because they paid Flacco to really do what Flacco can do, which is make the big throw that the other two kids they're not sure can make and manage the game because he's a Super Bowl quarterback. But Mike White in every opportunity he has gotten, he has not just shown up. He has dominated the game and earned his place on that team. Now, the question is, why haven't they made Mike White the starter? Why? Because Mike White is a low draft pick, Mr. Irrelevant type, who they have no real money invested in. And it is not sexy in the New York media to say this is your guy. But unfortunately, New York got big money and they pay big money to figure it out. And they paid a lot of money to find out that their third string quarterback is the best opportunity they have to get into the playoffs and be competitive and make a win. Now, Coach Salam, I love him. And I told you, he a Michigan man. Bang. Dearborn, not Detroit. Be that as it may, I love the Jets. Jets, Jets. But unfortunately, you playing the Bills, and every time that they went man to man, like the D line could not handle Josh Two-Man Allen on their own. They needed a spy, and every play that put the Jets in a way, it happened because of a 20 or 15-yard scamper by Two-Man Allen. All right, let's keep it rolling. And then we really done because I really only want to talk about two more teams. All right. The 49ers. The 49ers. What do we go to, Coach? What do you say about the 49ers? The 49ers are bipartisan of just wanting someone to believe in at quarterback. Period. They 9-4. They got off to a rocky start. No one knew who they were, what they were. And here's the deal. Purdy. He's so Purdy out there. Now they getting behind him. And it's evident that the franchise didn't. I don't know that the franchise is getting behind them more than that fan base. Now that is the difference between the the Jet fan base and that 49er fan base. The 49er fan base was not behind Jimmy G because the front office wasn't behind Jimmy G. And because they have not had anyone outside of Jimmy G to perform up until now, the fan base in that wave went on a trending storm to where now the franchise and all people are considering that Purdy is their starting quarterback. Now, whether he is or whether he isn't, he is no different than my man White at the Jets. The difference is the media markets because this guy was Mr. Relevant and so was Mike White. And the difference is they're willing to give this guy a spin with a Trey Lance on the bench, with a Jimmy G on the bench, and still not able to offload Jimmy. And so, point of the story, get behind who you have, people. It does not behoove you to go against it. It only hurts you. It is nothing to be gained. You beat the Patriots. Excuse me. See how that happened? You beat the Bucks straight up on will and hey, we behind the guy. Like, period. Look, just I'm gonna run this statistical break. He handled Brady statistically, and he didn't even finish the game, I don't think. Handled Brady statistically, didn't finish the game, but here's my point. He did not throw it as many times as Brady did. Brady aired that thing out 55 times. He went 34 for 55, 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Do you know that ratio right there? He still completed 34 passes and only threw 2 picks. Brady is a beast. I don't care how you cut it. Now, here the Purdy kid only threw 21 passes, completed 16 of them. But what does it say when your organization is behind you and your fan base is behind you? He didn't do anything Jimmy G didn't do. But they're behind him. And it changes things. And I ain't gonna even front, the McCaffrey deal did give them some juice and gave them a space to where now they can not only feel good about where they're going, they can go there with the idea that they can do the shifts, motions, trades, and still throw the ball 25 times, complete 16 to 17, 18 passes, and come out victorious. But it's a byproduct of everyone being behind this kid. He didn't do anything Jimmy G didn't do. They're behind him, but not Jimmy G. Maybe because Jimmy G too good looking. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know why they don't like Jimmy G. I don't know why they don't like him. Dude done did nothing but win. Anyway, last but not least, Monday Night Football. Patriots, please. Patriots, please. Patriots, please. All right, here you go. Bottom line is this, guys. Patriots are 7-4, 7-6, 7-6. They just won 27-13. Go on my feed. I called that too. And NFL is a lot easier for me to call than college because emotional states is a level of professionalism that is required at this level for you to even have a shot. Not that everyone operates at that level of professionalism. Obviously, they don't, but it is what it is. Okay, so now, Patriots, they get a dub, but everyone's still not happy in New England. Why? Because the ball didn't go downfield. Why? Because Matt Jones didn't throw a touchdown. Why? Because he also had a pick. Why? Because they're winning in a conservative, let them give us the game manner. And now people are saying, I've never understood the Patriots to be a team not to play to win. Listen, the play to win motto hasn't changed for them. They just don't have the bullets to just empty a clip out and go toe to toe with you. So it's like, okay, let's not mess up because this team is very, very mistake prone. And let's be around for their mistakes and capitalize. What did you see their defense do? What did you see Mac Jones do? Percentage-wise, Mac started spreading the ball amongst 2, 4, 6, 7, 9 players. Come on. He went 24 for 35. Now, whether you don't like the play call, I'm just telling you, he's efficient. He's efficient, people. He didn't throw a touchdown because he didn't have to. They ran the ball. And they ran the ball efficiently and very well. Still sounds like the Patriots to me, people. What's the point of the story? Your privilege is still showing. Stop it. Stop it. The thought process of Bill doesn't win this game is his game. If he doesn't win this game, his job's on the line. Now, I do have a homie who doesn't think much of Bill Belichick. And I consider him a pretty smart guy. But I also know that he does things opposite of trend and pulls out the flaw in that trend. And so he'll go against the trend for the sake of pulling out all the flaws in which people act like they don't see. I can't, good sir, I can't knock that. But he's still the GOAT. I don't care what you're talking about. And the irony of it all, look, Tom won without him first, but how many players did he take with him to go to Tampa to win? I'm just saying. So this whole thing that y'all can't respect who Tom is without Bill and who Bill is without Tom is just, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Yes, I said it. Tell him Coach Hall said it. Anyway, shout out to the Pats. I got it done. Now, the question is, can the Pats get next week done? Can the Pats continue to go in this direction? All right, let's evaluate it. They got the 4:00 game at the Raiders this next week. Maybe. They might be able to get it done. As I look at this, the Pats might be. I said the Pats will win out. I'm just being really honest about what could be. Like the Raiders is going to be an issue, but it's going to be more of an issue for the Raiders because look, it's McDaniels. He would love to beat Belichick, but it's going to be an emotional deal for him, not for Belichick. So go Pats. Then Cincinnati Bengals. That might be an issue, but I saw something that was an interesting stat. Most of the Pats' loss are not 1:00 games in Gillette this year, at least. And so I'm going Pats there. Dolphins may beat them because nope. I thought that was a night game. The Pats will beat the Dolphins. Now the Bills to be determined. If they make that a night game, the Pats lose. All right. This is Coach Malik Hall, the NFL edition. Catch up with Coach. You are officially caught up. Peace.